Okay. Is Kevin in here now?
Right.
Kevin. There he is. Yeah. Welcome, Kevin Harvick, to our press conference. Clay Campbell, is Clay here? There he is in the back, Martinsville folks. Glad to have you all with us. We're going to do something here a little bit later. This Arkansas State crowd, they're really a good football team. They got 10 seniors on defense. I don't know how I mean, that's pretty amazing in itself, really. And but they're athletic. Last week, offensively, they had 611 yards. Their quarterback was 19 for 21. That's hard to go 19 for 21 against the air. But running back had 100 yards. Defense, there was 10 players. It's pretty amazing. 10 players had at least one tackle for a loss. I mean, this is an athletic crowd right here. Kicker hit a 56-yard field goal. So, you know, this is really a good football team coming in here. And certainly, you know, we're going to have to be a better football team ourselves. And that's what we're going to strive to do here this week. Questions?
Hey, Coach, you got a bunch of fans worried to death after Saturday afternoon, penalties, things like that. Talk about the value in winning a tough, close football game on the road, especially with a young quarterback.
Yeah, you know, the big thing, and I told our team this yesterday, you know, after it's all said and done, the big thing is that when we needed to do it, we did it. You know, offensively took the ball 89 yards when we needed to. I mean, we had to. Defense played the best at the end of the football game. Our kickers were the best at the end of the football game. So I think you draw from that and then get those other things corrected. And when you're jumping all sides or line up all sides or whatever, I mean, those things you can correct. It's not something that, you know, we feel like we can be better on those things next time around.
Frank, the numbers are obviously impressive that you just read off, but I think at the end of the day, people say, yeah, but it's Arkansas State.
Yeah.
How do you combat that?
Well, then you put the Illinois film on, and you know, the Illinois scored like 33 on them. But I'm going to tell you, there's about 2 or 3 long plays in there. Secondary guy misses a tackle. Here it goes, you know, for a long play. But there was about 93% of the plays against Illinois was a 1-yard gain, a 2-yard gain, a 2.5-yard gain, a no-yard gain. And so, I mean, this crowd is for real. You know, Illinois gets some long plays, but that game is closer than the score would indicate also.
Back in the room to Justin.
Frank, you guys have played them about 4 times this coming up Saturday. Where did it originate? Is there any type of connection that you have to Arkansas State, and how did it maybe come about in the limited series that you guys do have against them?
No, not really. You know, I'm not sure how it all got going and kept going and so forth. But I do know this is the best Arkansas State by far team that I guess I've played them once since I've been here. Is it once or? Do I need Dave again?
Played 3 times.
Well, trust me, this is the best. This is the best of me by far, by a wide margin.
Frank, going back to your apologizing to the team for not having them ready to play after ECU. I mean, if you put your finger on anything that you feel like you didn't do or your staff didn't do that you want to make sure you do this week, next week, and every week from here on?
Yeah, you know, we go in there and 45 of our 72 guys had never been to Greenville, North Carolina to play, and we played East Carolina 2 years ago. So there's a lot of new guys, and I've been in this business long enough to prepare for the stadium, how it's going to be, you know, the dressing room, you know. And I don't think I did a very good job of that. I think I just assumed that we played so well against Appalachian State that, you know, we're going to be in good shape next week too. So mentally, you know, I'm a big guy. Mentally, what you're thinking kind of affects how you perform, and I don't think I did a good enough job of preparing our guys. And all these new guys, it's never, you know, they didn't have a clue, you know, what's getting ready to happen.
Back right, Coach.
Coach, I see that Andrew Miller was an offensive award winner for you against ECU. Talk a little bit about his play against the Pirates and also his play against Appalachian State.
Yeah, Andrew's a tough guy, a smart guy, and I've said this many times, but you give me a good wrestler, you usually have a pretty good football player if he's big enough and because he's got balance and he knows leverage and so forth. And I think that's Andrew. He's a heck of a wrestler, and but he's a heck of a football player too. And it all starts with him, and that's a good guy for it to start with.
John. Coach, another one of these spread offense situations to deal with. Is it fair to say your defense is now sort of geared that way since you see this look a lot more than in the past?
Yeah, but this crowd is, I think they're really good. Quarterback has said 19 for 21, and that's pretty amazing there. All the receivers except one are about 6'3", 6'4", and the other one, he's a little quick guy that can flat get it, and then a lot of their action comes off a play action pass, from the shotgun, and so it's holding you, and you just got to be great about taking your responsibility. I mean, it's a team that tests you. I mean, they've got a good scheme, and they run it well, and people to run it.
Frank's been in a bunch of games over the years. There's never been a game where one side had 12 penalties and the other side had 0.
I don't think so. I think we deserved our penalties except for one. I think one was questionable. And then I think they could have had a couple, but I give East Carolina credit. They played great, and when you're mentally into it like they were, and you're hyped up like they were, you usually don't have many penalties. We didn't have many penalties against Appalachian State the week before, but I think credit goes back to East Carolina being ready to play.
Coach, in regards to the punting situation, when do you think you'll decide who's going to punt against Arkansas State, or is it the type of thing where both of them could?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We kicked a lot yesterday, and we're going to kick some more today, and Denver kicked great again yesterday. I truly believe he just needs enough time to get adjusted. I mean, he's got the skill, he's done it, I think he just needs time to get adjusted.
Josh Oglesby was up here a little while ago. With everything he's been through with position switches, kind of, having to wait his turn for 3 or 4 years, how satisfying is it to see him do what he's done these first 2 weeks for you guys?
Yeah. It probably makes a statement about the tailbacks we've had here, because you look at Josh, and he made a couple of runs around that goal line Saturday. It was pretty good himself. I mean, he's a good player, and but he's I'm proud of him. It hasn't always been easy, but he's hung in there and having a great senior year. I mean, he's really, I think, putting the team first. Very like he's been all along, unselfish, but he wants to contribute and be a leader, and I think he's doing a great job of doing that and contributing. Those runs are pretty good. He's got good balance. I mean, he gets knocked around a little bit, but he keeps falling forward and not knocked off his feet, and good back.
Frank, unrelated to this week's game, but you've kind of talked about this in the past. The ACC has 5 games against other BCS conference schools this week. You've always kind of talked about kind of carrying the banner for the ACC in a game like that and kind of wanting to make a good showing. Just talk about that a little bit, and maybe if you pay more attention when Florida State plays Oklahoma to what happens than just a run-of-the-mill game.
Yeah, there's about, I guess, 4 big ones there, and the ACC teams are playing at home against ranked teams. I don't know. I think that's the first time that's happened, and and from the reputation of the league, it's a big week, but I still think. You just don't judge it on a weekend. You judge it over a period of time, and I still think the ACC's, with the quality of programs, the quality of coaches, we're going to win our share of those. But, to be quite honest with you, when you look at Arkansas State, I'm not worried about those guys right now. I'm worried about trying to get ready for this Arkansas State crowd. They're good.
After the Appalachian State game, David was in here and he was telling us his goals, and it was like 1,000 yards and All-American and no fumbles. Do you worry when a guy fumbles that it's going to mess with his head a little bit, or do you think he's fine?
Yeah, he's not a fumbler. You know, he's a strong guy that can, you know, he's not a guy that's like that. I don't think that's in his mind, and it's certainly not in my mind. I think you know, some guys just have trouble hanging on to the ball, and he's not one of those guys.
Two things, Frank. First, the penalty that you thought was kind of questionable, maybe the J-Ron Hosley pass interference call.
I thought that was questionable. Yeah, you know, I mean, I think most defensive backs have, when you turn and the receiver's on your outside, you got your hand back there to, you know, feel where he is. I mean, I think that's pretty common myself.
Second of all, I kind of get the feeling the answer to this question might be similar to your answer about Oglesby, but Chris Hill, obviously, he's a guy that came into several springs with the opportunity to take a #1 job, just never really could do it. And now the nickel package kind of comes along and gives him sort of a new lease on it.
Yeah, and he really made some plays. I mean, some big-time plays. And, you know, you kept waiting for it. He's got great speed. He's got great toughness. He's a, you know, great kid. And just kind of had, you know, he's been on the other side of some plays. But Saturday, I mean, he was on the right side and came back out yesterday and made a great interception. You know, I think he's just playing with more confidence right now.
Frank, who you like in the chase?
I like Kevin Hart. I could, Kevin, in all honesty now, the Virginia drivers, I got to pull for them a little bit. But one thing about Kevin, when he gets out front, not many people catch him after that. And I know stuff about NASCAR too. So, who you like?
I like Harvard. He's better food.
The food's better.
One last year tonight.
Wondering about the Cody Journell's miss in the game. What happened on that? Did he miss hit it? Was there a breakdown?
I think he just lift his head, and when he does, you know, you leave it out there. And you know, the good thing, he came right back and made the next one, and he's you know, been solid too. So.